stock traders, and welcome back to Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, Stock Sumo, and thanks for joining us on this magnificent Monday, June 25th, 2012. You know what time it is, folks. It's time to top off your cup of coffee here with Stock Traders Talk Radio as we look through the markets. So open up your charts, turn on your scanners, and fire up those trading accounts. Joining us on this morning's program, the king of DD, the archbishop of breaking down these companies, Haas. What's up, boss?
Oh, the king of DD and the archbishop. I'm feeling pretty good this morning after that, man. How was your weekend?
Oh, man, my weekend was awesome. How about yours?
Oh, it was great. Got to meet some friends from Nebraska. I was going to med school down there. He came back for the weekend, so we went out this last weekend, had a couple of drinks, caught up a little bit. It was a good time.
Nice. It's always good to see old-time buddies and catch up on old memories. Good stuff. And the weather was nice here up in New York. Didn't have to deal with my pool overflowing. God, like, who really cares? Your pool overflows. Big deal.
It's just extra water, in my opinion, but yeah. I don't know anything about pools.
Yeah. Anyways, also joining us on this morning's program, we have Sifakia. What's happening, buddy? Well, I had something exciting lined up for you, but I totally forgot about it. I just saw that. Hey, here's Siffy. Not that you're not pulling your own weight over there with the boom scanner, because we all know you definitely have some winners up your sleeve when you like to pull up that scanner. But Haas has just been killing it on the DD side of things, so I had to get extra creative for him after such a good week that we had last week. Boy, I'm really pumped for this week. I'm super excited. Got another good week of stuff lined up. I know we got a couple of CEO interviews coming up. So that'll be exciting. So be sure to keep an eye out for any updates on our message board. I know Haas has got a hottie lined up for us today, so I'm just going to pass it right away and let you run with the DD for the spotlight for today. Take it away, Haas.
All right. Sounds good, man. Yeah, this morning, I picked this one yesterday morning. I was getting a lot of chatter on the iHub. The ticker is EVDR, the company name, EVDR Incorporated. This one has had some major runs already this year, a couple of different times. We're talking about, for the most part of the year, it's been a 000 stock. So again, these are lotto plays, companies that have had some major issues in the recent history. But hopefully this one's making a more long-term change for the positive here, as we're seeing some of these new filings come out, which is what we're going to go over today and why I want to talk about it. First thing I'm going to note with the EVDR Incorporated for the day is that they are officially over-the-counter pink current information status as of this morning. Last night, they actually had a limited sign up there, pink limited, and shortly before they put out the recent filings last Friday, they actually had caveat emptor status on there. Which is no good for current shareholders or shareholders looking to get into the stock. But just within a couple of days here over the weekend, they're officially over-the-counter pink current information, so very positive sign. Starting to disclose a little more to the shareholders. All right, let's talk a little bit about
extra special.
We got sound bits going into the DD now. I like this. This is perfect, man. Just don't screw me up. I lose my train of thought easy, so keep that in mind. Anyways, first thing I want to take a look at here on pink sheets is obviously this June 22nd, 2012 initial company information and disclosure statement. We talk about so much on STTRADIO how much detail is put into these information and disclosure statements, and even just a general 10Q, quarterly filing. So I always like to go in there, and we will in just 1 second. The other thing I want to note is just the share structure over here on Pink Sheets. As of March 31st, 2012, we have an authorized share count of 988 million shares and 950 million in the outstanding share count. All right, let's dive right into this information and disclosure statement, because it gives a lot of details about what's been going on with the company, what their previous business focus was, and what they plan to do in the future with some of these new mergers they've been talking about over the last few months. All right, so I'm going to scroll down on this bad boy and get into the meat of it right away. As I always mention on the radio here, I like to get the share structure. These always have a more current share structure than what might actually be on Pink Sheets, but the fact that Pink Sheets was just updated to current overnight here, they're probably going to have the exact same share structure, and they in fact do, because I've already read over this a couple times. As stated right here. Oh, actually, the outstanding share count is a little higher. It said 950 on Pink Sheets. It says 975,024,000 shares right here. Another thing to keep in mind with that is that this outstanding share count of 975 million shares almost matches that 988 million authorized share count, which leaves very, very small amounts of room for dilution. So that's another, you can put a positive spin on that if you're a shareholder looking to get in. Oh, the company can't dilute. The outstanding share count matches the authorized share count. So you're probably not going to see a massive amount of dumping unless there's some convertibles in there, which there very possibly are some convertibles in there that could potentially hit the market at some point. But for right now, we'll just leave it at the outstanding share count is pretty close to the authorized. So you're not going to see any sort of dilution unless they raise the authorized share count with some of these mergers that they have coming in, which is also very possible. So keep an eye out for that and any type of share structure changes, as you always should be with these over-the-counter market companies. All right, let's scroll down a little bit, get an idea of what's going on. I want to start off going over the company in general. It used to be Carpe Diem Enterprises Incorporated. It was incorporated in the state of Nevada in 1995. It ended up switching business focus to this Ezerati Electric Technologies Corporation just after 2000 here, July 12th, year 2000. And on August 13th, 2003, this Ezerati Electric Technologies Group was renamed to EVDR Incorporated, which is the current name of the company. And for whatever reason, over the last, well, I should say about 2 or 3 years ago, in July 21st, 2010 here, the issuer filed SEC Form 15 certification and notice of termination of registration under Section 12G of the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934. Basically, they're going to stop reporting. They're going to stop putting out filings. And what happened here is this Ezerati Technologies Group basically went private, and basically leaving the EVDR shell for the most part. But we'll talk a little bit about this Avtar Singh Construction Company here. This was another business entity of theirs, a subsidiary, actually an Indian construction subsidiary. This Avtar Singh Construction Company, the company was incorporated in India in 1987 and executes large civil engineering projects in India. So this is actually a functioning business, but EVDR's trying to get away from this. In the North American markets, people are always skeptical, and by people I mean large investors are always skeptical of some of these foreign subsidiaries or foreign operations plopped in these over-the-counter companies. We've all seen some of these recent Chinese reverse mergers and all the issues they have finding investments and their stocks being completely illiquid for the most part. And so that's kind of why this EVDR is moving away from this. And basically what they're doing right now is they're selling this Avtar Singh Construction Company. They put out lots of press related to that in early 2012 here. They're basically going to sell this portion and they do have interest, and they have actually put up press recently saying that they have found a buyer for it. We're still waiting on the final details of that and the filings for it. But just keep that in mind. This is not going to be their business focus into the future here, because future operations are stated right down here. So let's get an idea of what they plan to do in the future. It's actually pretty cool. EVDR management is in the final discussions with a robotics company that they plan to basically reverse merge into the EVDR. www.drvibit.com. Finalization of the documents is well underway and anticipated closing in Q2 2012. So very, very shortly, very, very near term, creating instant speculation, which is awesome. And obviously robotics company, people can get excited about that. You can put a sexy spin on that for sure. The company is pleased to share more details regarding this Visisys Visual Intelligence Systems Dr. Vibit system. All right, and then it goes on to describe all the uses and potential applications, potential markets that this Dr. Vibit system could be used in. It can be used for a couple of different things. Obviously, security systems, surveillance systems, anything to do with that. I'm not going to go over all the details of all the uses that could have within the security and surveillance systems. Basically, if you read all this, we'll go check out the site in a second just to get an idea of the actual different types of websites that they have for these. But if I may say, it's a pretty badass system. The specifications are pretty much off the charts, and they are equivalent, if not much better than most of the actual surveillance and security systems out there. So it could definitely have a large impact in this market if it really ends up taking off. But the cooler use and application of this Dr. Vibot, in my own personal opinion, because I have a background in pre-medicine and stuff like that, is actually its use in the medical field. Dr. Vibot Research and Development Center is working on robotic devices which in the near future will be used to replace missing limbs, perform delicate surgical procedures, deliver neuro-rehabilitation therapy to stroke patients, teach children with learning disabilities, and perform a growing number of other health-related tasks. So, there are some products on the market, in the medical market, that use robotics. In the medical schools, you have like robotic patients, different types of things like that. But this is really cool. We're talking about robots performing actual surgeries. And again, you can put a sexy story on that. This is something that shareholders, both current and potential, can get really, really excited about. And this is something that if this sort of technology actually proves to make a dent in this market, bring in some major, major money. But again, early stage research and development phase of most of these robotics products right now.
Oh, righty then.
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Then they go into the market description about, the robotics medical field. And I'm not going to go through all this either. Basically, this graph right here just sums up what I would talk about anyways. The worldwide robotics market growth expected to basically double, triple within the next 10 to 15 years. So gaining popularity as some of these robots are actually developed. Obviously, research has been going on for years and years and years, and these robots are getting more adaptable to our actual workforce and being able to replace workers and different types of things like that. So Visisys Incorporated, let's go check out some of these websites. The actual EVDR Corporation website is pretty detailed on this robotics company. So obviously this merger is basically all but signed, sealed, and delivered on here. I'm not going to go over all the details of this either. You can go check out the website yourself, and we just don't have the time to do that on the morning show here. But lots of good information on this ViceAssist and Dr. Vibot system. So definitely go check that out. This ViceAssist also has their own little website, not quite as expansive as the Evader website, not quite as much information, but basically the exact same information. So obviously this ViceAssist group is coming into EVDR, so the EVDR website would probably be a better place to go to get the information on the actual company focus and the actual technical specifications and what this ViceAssist group has going on. And Dr. Vibot also has its own little website here. And all these can be found in the iHub sticky posts, the iHub iBox. It's actually pretty updated. The moderators there have been doing a fantastic job and keeping that iBox updated. So really good stuff. This Dr. Vibot website actually provides pretty much the same information, but there's still a lot of little bits that might not be on the other sites. So make sure you check out all three sites for sure. I want to go back to this filing actually, because there are a couple of other little tidbits that I definitely want to go over, particularly one related to the management structure and financial information. All right. They list a lot of management that were part of the old business name and focus, this Ezerati Electric Technologies Corp., which again is not, doesn't really have anything to do with EVDR at this point. A couple of these old management personnel from that company actually do some consulting with the current EVDR, but that won't be for much longer. But one person in particular, I do want to go over this, Robert Shiver, right here. I was reading these management profiles last night, and this one really stood out to me, especially the fact that we're bringing in this robotics merger. Robert Shiver became CEO and chairman of ViceAssist Holdings PLC in August 2009. So he's the CEO and chairman of this ViceAssist company coming in. Mr. Shiver is also a director of China Security and Surveillance Technology Incorporated, which trades on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker CSR. Very interesting. A very compatible New York Stock Exchange company. Yeah, you could throw a positive spin on that, and just about any way you try to think of some sort of buyout, some sort of other affiliation with this company CSR here, when they're bringing this ViceAssist systems that can be used for security and surveillance. All right, so he obviously has connections in that realm as well for this product to be, marketed in. So from October 25th, 2007. He's been the director of this particular company. Mr. Shiver is currently the chairman and CEO of both Airwave Holdings Incorporated and the Shiver Group LLC, which are privately held investment companies that specialize in developing recurring revenue services and products in the global security, energy, wireless, and technology sectors. Another little bit on investment. In security, surveillance, technology, robotics, whatever, through this Shiver Group LLC. So not only does he have the marketing affiliations through this other New York Stock Exchange company, he also has the investment and financial affiliations, which instantly makes you think, good, EVDR can find the investment they need when they need it, especially in this particular with this particular business focus in robotics, security, surveillance through this new mergers that they're bringing in. All right, so very, very, very interesting little bio there for that key personnel coming into the company here through this merger with ViceAssist Holdings, the CEO and chairman. I think that's about all I wanted to go over in this actual particular filing. Oh, one more note that I'll make is someone beneficially owning more than 5% of the common stock here. We have two people, some sort of unknown investment banker, William G. Good is their securities counsel, and also Myanmar Marketing Group. We've talked about Myanmar a couple of times on the show. They did and do perform some investor relations and consulting services for this company. So they own a lot of shares here. All right, so keep that in mind. A couple of large holders in there for sure. All right. Management's discussion and analysis or plan of operation is the outgoing company subsidiary ASCC. This is that Indian construction company I was just talking about, is a non-reporting company. We do not have any details regarding the future development and plan of operation. They're just selling it. That's all you need to know about it. EVDR previously stated that it has completed the divestiture of its Indian company holdings. This same thing. The complex transaction due to Indian laws will be released shortly. So we'll expect news shortly on this sale of this Indian subsidiary. And we just talked about all this Dr. Vibet and the merger actually taking place right now. And also go take a look at this return on investment estimation worksheet. Dr. Vibet in this filing talks a little bit about the actual costs associated with employees versus robots and how much a company or hospital could save by using this Dr. Vibet versus an actual employee over the course of the year. And it also talks a little bit about the revenues that EVDR could actually bring in here and what they expect. 2012, 750,000 estimate for revenues. 2013, their estimate is $3.6 million and profitable. $3.6 million. Obviously, those are just estimates at this point, but those numbers aren't too shabby for a company just coming out of the woodwork within a year, bringing 3-4 million revenues in. So also another positive little bit there for shareholders. As far as the actual balance sheet, I'm not even going to look at it. I was going to, but we're actually running out of time here because there's just so much to talk about with this company right now. It's basically clean. EVDR is basically a shell. Just keep in mind that the share structure is close to 1 billion shares there, but for a stock trading around 001 that's planning on bringing 4 million in revenues in pretty much right away in a reverse merger. And in one of the press releases, they actually mentioned that the float, the free trading float, I think is around 350 million shares. So much, much lower than the actual outstanding share count. So this thing actually does move pretty easy and pretty slick when it gets positive news. And with this new merger coming in and some of these details just coming out, just getting current on pink sheets, this thing is very, very likely going to heat up. I really, really like it around this 001 area. But obviously do your own due diligence. I'm just going to go and do a little brief overview of the most recent press that they put out on June 6th, 2012, before we take a look at this chart and before this market opens here. EVDR Incorporated is providing this general company update to its followers in the market. Successfully re-domiciled to Wyoming versus Nevada, which is where they were incorporated before, ahead of the anticipated mergers. Notice that S is in parentheses there, with a robotics company and a visual ID company. And we just went over all the details of those companies right there. They're going to be announcing some new officers within the upcoming days here. They say they're ranked caveat emptor here, but they already put those filings out to get pink sheets current. So very positive. They're doing the things that they say they're going to do. Shortly, more updates on the robotics company and visual ID company. So along with the filings we saw today, they'll probably be putting out some press related to these and some of the details of the actual merger transactions. And so, basically what we just went over in the actual disclosure statement. One other thing that I'm not 100% sure of quite yet, and keep in mind that a lot of you out there that are interested in this company have probably done a lot more due diligence than I did, so please private message me if you know the answer to this. A little while ago, they put out press related to a merger with an oil and gas company. I think it was as early as May. Let's check out this May 3rd, 2012 press release. Yes, right here. EVDR management confirms that it is in final stages of a merger acquisition process with a Texas-based gas company. The divestiture of this Indian subsidiary, among other things, clears the road for the Texas Gas Company transaction to finalize. So I'm not sure if they're actually still in talks regarding this particular merger. I know they state down here they entered a quiet period after that. And there was also that little parentheses with that S there when they put mergers in the June 6th PR. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple other mergers that they plan to pop in to this little EVDR, which is basically becoming a holding company, which is completely fine. But definitely we know that one of the foci is going to be this robotics, surveillance, security system, little focus here. So very positive things going on with the company, lots of speculation you can throw out there. And basically a company that was sort of quiet for about a year, coming out of the woodwork here. Nice little share structure for a stock trading at 001. I would expect tons of news to come out in the near future. Chatter definitely increasing across the message boards. I really like this one as a midterm play here. I'm never a short-term player. I'm always a midterm play. So keep your eyes on the wires for this one. Let's take a look at the chart because we're running out of time here, and I like to babble and babble and babble. And I think this chart's setting out for a breakout if we see some momentum early on this week. So roll with it, boy.
All right, before we go over to the chart, let's just go to our message board here and type in EVDR. See who's been talking about it when. Of course, we've been talking about this one before, and in fact, we even did a spotlight on it before. COP caught this one when we noticed it was a Minimar play. But going all the way back to, you could see February, you were posting on it. This is February 26th. Haas was on it. STT. So Sifikia was the first to post on it back in January. Let's see what she's done since then. So back in January when Sifi was posting on it, it was trading in the 000 range. Had the huge spike to 0038. Then we seen the consolidation, the pullback. It fell below these moving averages here and kind of hovered around the 100-day where it found some support. And it looks like the markets are now open. Okay.
Finish that chart, boy. Finish that chart.
So we had the consolidation. It found support off the 100-day. You've seen it run off the 100-day back to the 003 range. And since then, got the consolidation. It had another little pop here, but only to 0016. So this is going to be a key resistance mark right here, 0016. Notice it ran a 0017 here. So this 0016 and 0017 is going to be a key resistance mark. And notice that she's trading right above these moving averages here, which once she breaks above these moving averages, things could get quite interesting. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I like the way that it's holding above the 20-day moving average, which is currently at 0009. Looking at the RSI, it's showing some strength. Notice that it's above the 50 MA overlay, and it's also above the 50 line. Currently the RSI is sitting at 51.94. Notice that 50 overlay is right at the 50 line, 50.01. So that's showing strength. I'd like to see that RSI keep climbing, get up into the power zone. You see the PPO right at the 0 line, basically kissing here by the histogram. I want to see these blue bars on the histogram crank back up to the top side. That'll be positive. Notice the slow stow is getting ready to hook up here and cross. So I want to see the slow stow cross over. That'll be a bullish confirmation. Then I want to see the slow stow get above this 50 overlay and keep moving north. So not a bad looking chart. Notice that the volume has tapered off here. I want to see some volume return like we've had these bigger days when the volume popped. You've seen the stock pop. So we'll be looking for volume confirmation for a breakout. And currently she's sitting 001 by 0011. Why don't you pull up the level 2, Haas?
Yeah, I definitely got it up. Why don't you roll over to me? I got a couple of them that I want to point out quite early this week. EVDR level 2 is looking pretty decent right now. We got about 2.5 million sitting on the bid at 001. We got about 622,000 shares there on the ask at 0011. So the S side is looking pretty thin, but the bid side's not looking as heavy as I would like to see it. But again, that news and the filings that hit late Friday still spreading over the weekend here. So I think this one will kind of heat up slowly as the week progresses here, as people anticipate the upcoming news releases. Let's go and check out a couple of other ones. AERS obviously got super hot late in the week last week. Looking pretty decent on the bid side. We see a nice fat 420,000 share bid here on 2.38 cents. Current spread is 2.65 by 2.7 cents. Ask side pretty thin to 2.75 cents.
HIMR had some news out. They were talking about a possible share reduction. They didn't mention any specific numbers. They just said that it's a possibility, which who knows if they ever execute on it. But if they do, that could prove to be a good sign for shareholders. That's ticker symbol HIMR, Holland Industrial Marine Inc. Currently trading at 0009 by 001. You saw it come down last week on heavy selling pressure. Found support at like the 0006 range. I remember seeing you posting some chat rooms talking about how you were going to try to catch it at 0004. Guess you had no luck there.
Yeah. I actually changed it to 0005 and 0006, and I didn't even have luck with those, man. But I didn't chase it. But yeah, I expect that one to heat up again. There's definitely some chatter and some rumors, and I fully expect another push. Great news today, too.
EEDG heating up again this morning. We've seen this one pop in the past, up 39% this morning. That's Energy Edge, ticker symbol EEDG. Last traded at 0975, looking strong. Another one that's looking strong out of the gate is Thwapper, THWI. I saw some promo emails on it over the weekend. I was mentioning this one on our board for about a week now. I said it needs to hold support at 026. Last week, we saw confirmation it held support at 026. Now we're looking for it to break resistance at 038 and 042. Thwapper looking good out of the gate. It's up over a penny this morning. Last trade, 037.
HLNT beasting again. Surprise, surprise. 1.3 cents by 1.33 cents. Already 5.6 million in volume. Yeah. I wouldn't be pounding the table on this one right now. We do have, 2 billion shares sitting out there. Actually, more than 2 billion shares sitting out there. And this one is up big in the very short term. So I would fully expect some consolidation at some point here, but it's looking again early out of the gates so far this morning.
Yeah, I remember when you caught that one, did the spotlight. It had traded as low as 0068 that morning, so up to 013 already. Nice, cool, 100% gain. And nice volume, too. That thing has just been climbing up on steady volume. You could take a nice position in that and be able to flip out, no problem with the liquidity that we're seeing there. Ants taking a move this morning. ANTS. We talked about this on last night's show. We talked about a lot of A stocks last night on the show. We also talked about ACTC, which is still getting beat up. That was one that we pointed out that was in a very bearish trend on a pullback. ACTC not done finding its bottom yet. And ANTS moving up. So a couple on the scanner that we talked about on last night's show. Keep those on watch.
One that I'm kind of looking for some sort of bounce. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I would actually have to go do some due diligence. It's SAGD, South American Gold. This one got hammered for whatever reason. I'm sure they raised some money, did some sort of dilution. Some convertibles hit the market or something, but this thing just tanked. I think it was upwards of like 40 cents or something, and it started to bounce last Friday. It saw some higher volumes on a nice little day in the green last Friday. So I'm kind of watching out of the gates this morning, see if that dead cat bounce momentum keeps it going upwards.
You want a dead cat bounce? I'll give you dead can't bounce. Let's pull up a chart on VHGI. Siffy brought this one up to me over the weekend. We were taking a look at some scans, taking a look at different stuff. This one hit its 52-week low on Friday. Notice the sharp sell-off. Boom. Found support here. Still not quite sure if this is the bottom yet, but it looks like it could be settling in here. I'm looking at the level 2. They're showing a spread of 0.55 by 0.68. I like the makeup of the level 2 here. Even though the spread is pretty loose, the offers look very, very thin all the way up to 25 and 45 cents. And you notice this stock, let's pull up the 6-month and go back and see what she's done. Let's actually go 1 year back. But it had a nice run all the way from like the 10-cent mark up to 75 cents. And it held up in the 70-cent range for, decent little time here. Between February and April, it held between 60 and 70 cents. And then, boom, you see the sudden, sharp sell-off. Maybe some restricted shares got freed up, and an unfriendly shareholder decided to dump out of their position. Who knows? But you can see the RSI is way oversold here. Hasn't been this low ever. It bounced off of this 29 mark before. So let's see if this RSI can bounce off of this oversold. Needs to bounce and get back above the 50 overlay to start showing some strength. But you definitely want to keep an eye on something like this that's fallen off a cliff and just hit a new 52-week low. EVDR just got an uptick. Nice ask slaps going on there. EVDR, what do you got on the level 2, Haas?
Oops, sorry, I was on mute. 0011 by 0012. The ask thinned out pretty nicely to the 0014 area from what I can see right now. Showing a couple market makers with just 5,000 showings on the ask at 0012 and also at 35,000 through auto. Bid side, we got about 1 million shares. Well, yeah, 1 million shares sitting through night, 870,000 to be exact. Right under that, you got about 2.5 million sitting there on 001 through ETMM and auto. So level 2 shaping up a little bit. We're getting a few hits. We'll see if we can bust out 3.2 million in volume so far this morning.
We talked about prop last week, PROP. We saw it making the move. It had some big volume last week. Late in the week, Thursday and Friday, the volume was consistent. It traded over 5 million shares both days and had the big run up. We saw a consolidation on Friday on PROP. Why don't you pull up the level 2? Oh, yeah, EVDR. Looks like she was ready to go here. 0012 by 0014. Strong out of the gate. 13's just popped up, but prop. PROP, another one that has a pretty thin level 2. Terrible spread, 0053 by 0084. Definitely want to see those bids come up. Yeah, what do you got for prop?
As far as due diligence goes, I think there's lots of rumors out there about some news coming out shortly, and the share structure is really, really nice. I think we have a 28 million outstanding share count, and I think most of that is held by insiders. I think over half. So when you got a stock trading sub penny with a 10 to 15 million share float, obviously it can move pretty quick if any sort of dollar volume comes its way. So if they actually do end up releasing some news, this thing could go quick. So definitely got my eyes on it. As you mentioned, we'd like to see a little more bid support coming in, especially at this point. But the ask side doesn't look too thick if that bid support and volume actually does start hitting this. So
certainly.
Man, EEDG hitting high day, 9.9 cents, up 41.4%, 432,000 in volume. Another low floater. Alternative energy sector, they've been putting out some big news on their little alternative energy focus, which has been very, very good. Again, I am just banging my head against the wall for not buying this at 003 when someone pounded the table at me. I suck.
Yeah, it's tough to keep up with so many plays. We got so much on our table at once. That's why we provide such a wonderful service. You know, we have such a good network here and so many great tools, scanners, awesome stuff. So it's you know, it's just great that we have such a good team and so many great resources, and the audience really gets a lot out of it. You know, where else can you go to interact in a chat room, watch video, and listen to us live as the market opens, breaking down what is hot up to the minute. Speaking of breaking out, Thwapper just broke the high of day. THWI, pull it up, Haas.
Yeah, we got a nice fat bid, 100,000 shares at 3.7 cents there. 3.7 by 3.8 cents spread. Got about 110,000 on the ask there at 3.8 cents.
Let's pull up a quick chart on it.
487,000 shares in volume.
So as you can see by looking at the chart, we're right at a key resistance level. This morning, we got above a pivotal point of 0318. The next key resistance here is 0373 and then 0417. You have the 20-day moving average at 0373. So if we break above that 20 DMA, that's going to be very positive, very bullish sign. Want to see it hold above that after it breaks that resistance. And you got the 200-day at 0585. After that 0585, the next resistance is going to be this swing high right here, 079. Now, folks, remember, this stock ran from 0055 all the way up to 079. We've seen it consolidate, and I pointed out last week it had to hold support at 0026. 026. So you see the support here at 026. Now we're at the key resistance. We want to see it break the resistance and hold as support. Just broke resistance. Nice buy-in coming in on Thwapper. 038 by 039.
Yeah, this one really thinned out there. It looks like it's going to test that 4-cent mark today, and by the looks of it, it might just roll right through it. 3.8 by 3.9 cents spread right now. We got 90,000 sitting on the bid at 3.8, 40,000 on the ask at 3.9, and then 15,000 on the ask at 4 cents there. Then it jumps to 4.35 cents.
We might as well go over to our board real fast. What do we got for volume?
616,000 shares.
Nice. So let's just take a look at our board. We'll pull up Thwapper, THWI, and oh, who's the only person posting on it? Look at that. It's me, Stock Sumo. Here's one I got. Boom.
You set yourself up for that one, didn't you?
Look at this. Annotated chart. I said current levels of support 02 and 026. Needs to hold that. So we're seeing it hold that last week. We're starting to see some increased awareness. I saw some newsletters covering it over the weekend. So good stuff there. Definitely going to keep it on watch.
Solid. I like it. This another one to put on your watch list is FEGR, Friendly Energy Exploration. I actually mentioned this one at 002 last week as a little mini spotlight, and it ended up running to that 0035 area on some high volume. I think people were expecting this rumored news to come out a little bit earlier than it actually hasn't quite yet. But people are still expecting. There's still a lot of chatter, lots of rumors floating around. And as we saw last week, this one can move pretty easy when any sort of volume comes in. This thing dipped all the way back below 002 late last week. But the bid side is slowly creeping up and increasing in size here. 0023 by 0024 right now. Just want to keep your eye on, go do some due diligence, put it on your watch list. Oil and gas. And everybody can get hyped about that. Nice little share structure there for FEGR as well.
Fagger.
EEDG just broke 10 cents. Current spread 10.1 by 10.4 cents. Last trade at 10.4 cents, up 48.6%, 563,000 in volume on the positive news today. Looks like this one What was the high it hit on its last major run?
19 cents it hit a high of.
Yeah, this one, I don't know. They might be locking this float down. Who knows? This one could get nutty.
Yeah, it looks good.
Got another bid came in on Whopper Inc. 3.8 cents by 3.9 still. No hits on that 3.9 quite yet, but we got over 100,000 shares sitting on 3.8 cent bid through two market makers, Knight and Otto.
And then you got E-Trade on the offer with 40,000.
Yeah, the offer side looks really clean. You got ETMM at 3.9, UBSS at 4, Otto and Knight at 4.35, and then Hudson's sitting there at 4.5. So I don't see any real potential toxic stuff, if any, until Hudson at 4.5. But Hudson, I don't really consider toxic. He's just non-retail.
Siffy's probably trading his ass off right now. I wonder if he's got any time to pull up the boom scanner. Ants is moving up. That's hitting my scanner. 73 trades this morning, up 30%.
Wow.
Again, we caught that one last night on the radio.
Nice. Oh, sorry, man.
Posted the video. If you didn't see it, go to the videos on Investors Hub. You can check out what we discussed on last night's show.
Yeah, there's some nice bid support there on 1 cent for sure.
Going strong.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I never really did any due diligence on it until last night before our little show. But that CEO update that he put out, not only are they, focused in their actual Ant software and applications for that, but they're considering some other types of mergers with some private, energy companies and different types of sectors. So this one could turn into more of a holding type company with a bunch of different avenues as far as what it does for its businesses. So pretty cool.
Yeah, if you go over to our board, you can see we've been talking about this one a lot. We did a spotlight way back when. I remember Cop did the spotlight on this one. Just going back here, all the way back in February, we got posters on it. January, it looks like. Nope, February 2nd was the first post on it. And let's just take a look at what it did back then. So February was when we first started getting the posters on it, and Haas, you had it, you discussed it. I guess you didn't break down the DD too much, but I remember Cop did his spotlight, and it had a huge run. It was a big gainer. Ran from the 002, 003 range all the way up to 0328. So big run, and then the consolidation, the pullback. You seen it trade in a tight channel here. Had a couple little bounces, but this sideways trading action really set a ground for the stock, and there's a nice floor here of support at 004, it looks like, 0035, and then we're starting to see the uptrend. And right here is going to be a key level to break, which is the 200-day moving average. That's 0228. Notice the RSI is punching up into the power zone, showing a lot of strength. Same with the PPO, that's showing some strength. So the indicators are looking good on the ANTS chart, and we're liking the activity today. Let's take a look at the scanner again, see what else we got hitting the old scanner. Siffy, what do you got for the boom scanner, bud?
Looks like AGCZ is getting some action. This one's up 46.1% on the day on very, very low volume. 32,400 shares. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, if that was a little market maker finagle right out of the gates. But this is some weird trading on news this morning. Let's go check out that news. 3.21 cents by 3.95 cents spread right now. You had a couple of smaller orders coming through on 2.6 right out of the gates. very small orders, and then you had the higher taps. So sometimes market makers play some games right out of the open, especially if people put in market-like orders. Looks like they just completed their new mill in Peru. 50-ton per day mill in Peru using water flotation and an agitator tank for cyanidation. So positive news for the company for sure. I'm not exactly sure how to interpret what's going on as far as level 2 in the tape goes so far, though. Very low amount of volume.
There he is.
We didn't.
No, we did not.
Wow. More news. Yeah. They've been putting out news every day for like the last week related to more energy deals and improving their operating margins, which is what they need to do. This company actually brings in like 70 to 100 million dollars in revenues every single year, but they just operate at such a significant net loss that they're trading down at a freaking penny. They just need to figure out how to turn a profit, and these guys will be off the charts.
UBRG and EVDR both having about 29 trades so far this morning, both consistent, good volume flowing through. So I'm sure DD Amanda's saying some good things about both of these ones.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Yeah, I saw that one hit my scanner as well. Tex Lone Star last traded at 0105. That's TCLN, up 41% on 4.6 million in volume, 19 trades on the day. Didn't I mention that one to you guys last week? We were off the radio show. I said, hey guys, Prot's hitting the scanner. You guys remember that? I said this one. I don't know. They're keeping Thwopper nice and tight, though. Is Thwopper thumping on your scanner?
Was that alliteration?
Yeah, buddy, at its finest.
Is that what that is?
Thumping.
Oh.
I got a little NYNX hitting the old scanner. Nuvo Onyx. Nuvonix. Last traded at 7 cents. It's up 40% on 280,000 shares. That's NVNX.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to go on mute. I was.
You gotta love some alliteration. He's laughing at the host himself, Stock Sumo.
No, that was awesome, dude. Hey, I don't know why you're telling me, man. You caught that thing at 005. I was a buy down there.
EEDG. Boom. Chugging along. 14's up.
Yeah, this one's thin. This one can move.
Oh, yeah. Liquid metals hitting the scanner. LQMT. That was one that I called at like 28 cents. And it's been seeing some small gains here and there, but good volume, 319,000 shares.
Ants, once it broke that penny mark, there were literally like 1.5 million shares sitting on that bid there. So that was this one's definitely ready to push a little bit higher here. 1-1 by 115 right now, 5.6 million in volume. Last traded 1.02 cents, up 10.9%. So bid sports gradually increasing above that penny mark. Always a positive sign. EEDG looks like it's going to break through these 14s, boys. 13.5 cents by 14 cents spread right now. Last trade at 13.5, up 92.9% on the day. 800,000 shares traded. There she rolls through the 14s, 14.5 up on the ask now. I think she might test some new 52-week highs if I do say so. Anyways, UBRG 1.17 cents by 1.2 cents now. High a day it touched 1.25 cents just a little bit ago, but massive volume so far, 4.9 million shares, up 31.9% on the day. And as we mentioned, they've been putting out tons of news related to some very positive things that they're doing with the company, and that bid sport looks massive compared to that ask side of things as far as above the penny mark goes. THWI is tapping those fours, 737,000 in volume now. Looks like we got about 80,000 shares on the 4-cent ask, 65,000 on the bid at 3.9 cents. But touching high a day at 4 cents, this thing's got nothing but ass slaps all day so far.
Prop. Big bid showed up at 0052. I'd like to see that bid get closer to the 008 range so there's not such a loose spread. Currently the offer is 0083, but nice 500,000 share bidder on prop at 0052. Oh, somebody just covered him up. No-brainer. Well, it's not like we haven't talked about this one, you know, a lot of times in the past. I remember specifically Retire Early calling up one morning when the stock was trading in the 2 to 3 cent range and told us, you know, keep this one on our watch list. Yeah, we miss you, Retire Early. We miss you calling up, giving us those big winners. She's probably sitting on some. In case anybody out there listening wants to call in, you can feel free to give us a shout at 855-STT-LIVE, or you can call up at 347-215-7181.
All right, guys. What do you say we call it a show? I mean, I don't know if we can get any hotter than this morning. We've got some runners, boys. Runners!
Oh, that's why I was so fired up for another rockin' week, baby. We kicked it off on the right foot, and I'm sure the rest of the week is going to continue to be the same.
EEDG just rolled through 15. Let's end on that note.
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
Stock Traders Talk Radio. Thanks for tuning in. We're out.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.